baby, her parents loved her dearly, and when their Trudy smiled, she gave them a rush of instant joy, their one and only awesome wonder child. She started to grow and learned how to walk, and when she finally had something to say, she said, "You have a big nose, Daddy, and Mummy, you have big hairs that are grey." Trudy's parents were hurt. Their daughter's words really stung. They were both taken aback. But then Trudy's mum said, "Our daughter's right, my love. My hair's no longer black." And Trudy's dad sniffed, "Well, I never noticed it before, but my sniffer's kind of big." What more can we ask for than a child who tells the truth? And then they all danced a jig. Trudy got a little older, grew a little taller, and then off to school she went. She was excited to learn how to read, to make friends, and to one day become important. But it all went wrong when she tried to make a friend, and ended up being blamed for making little Maisie cry because she said, "Hi, is your big mole been named?" Trudy came home from school later that day with a letter pinned to her coat. She hadn't learned to read yet, so all she could do is present her parents with the note. They were rattled that their one and only had been so horribly uncouth. They said, "If you have nothing nice to say, please don't, even if it's the truth." The next day, Trudy returned to school, hoping to prove she was a good kid. She wanted to make friends with Georgia and Sasha and Max and Lil and Sid. "You have big freckles. You have big ears. When you cried at recess, you had big tears. You have big eyebrows. You have big hair. You have big lips and you're eating a big pear." She wasn't sure why she got into trouble, but she had an idea that maybe it had to do with when she asked her teacher, "Sir, when are you having your big baby?" Trudy didn't know what she'd done, but she had a feeling that the notes were a clue. "I haven't learned to read yet, Mum and Dad, but I sure can't wait till I do." Trudy's mum cried, "Our child can't lie. Maybe she won't succeed. Or make good friends, get a job, be happy, or even learn how to read." Trudy's father listened, silently feeling her pain, till he finally had something to say. "She'll learn how to read if she keeps her mouth shut, just for the length of one day." Trudy left for school feeling happy and hopeful, a great feeling in her gut. She wore a new dress, her hair was nicely curled, and her mouth was zippered shut. She kept to herself, didn't stare or point, till she rounded the corner and saw something enormous and round that popped right out. It was the most magnificent eyeball. The zipper ripped open, and Trudy shouted out, "That's the biggest eyeball in the whole world!" The man attached to the eyeball stopped and said to her, "Why, thank you, little girl. It's what makes me special. It's my most wonderful trait. Because of it, I'm so proud. What makes you marvelous? What do you have to show off? What makes you stand out from a crowd?" Trudy thought for a moment. "I don't have big ears. I don't have big teeth or big toes. I don't have a big eyeball." She started to cry. "I don't even have my father's big nose." As her mouth opened wide, the man could see her teeth as she cried, her tongue, her uvula, and tonsils just south. And that's when the man knew what made her great. Little girl, why, it's your big mouth. Trudy stopped crying, brushed her tears away, and slowly smiled up at the man. It was the biggest, the most brilliant of smiles that ever shone across this great land. Before he left, he told her that people can be silly, sometimes overly sensitive. So make sure they know it is a compliment that you are meaning to give. Trudy danced down the street, smiling and singing to everyone who she passed by. I love your big knees, your big lovely feet, your wonderful thunderous big cry. At school, Trudy learned how to read and write, and finally made friends at recess. And for the first time, came home to her parents without notes pinned to her dress.